Okay, this next subject we're about to talk about. Look, I ain't gonna pretend I know everything about it. As a matter of fact, I like to think I know things. And sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm not, to be honest. But uh, when it comes to companies, right, and their hiring process, after the COVID pandemic, in my opinion, a lot of people got used to, working from home. And after the pandemic, a lot of jobs continue to offer remote, continue to stay remote. And which was, in my opinion, as an introvert, oh, that's music to my ears. You know what I'm saying? But I understand that some people, not everybody is an introvert. Some people need that, pure person to person reaction or interaction. And I guess when it comes to some companies, they are really extroverted because they really need that person to person reaction. As a matter of fact, this video is about why companies need people back in the office. And it's by the YouTube channel How Money Works. Now obviously it's not because of extroverted reasons, but let's find out, learn together why companies need people in the back in the office. Let's check it out. As always, links to the video and links to the channel will both be in the description below. Let's get it.
According to study after study, working from home leads to more efficient workers, less staff turnover, higher quality work, and it's cheaper for the business and its workers. So why the f do so many companies want people back into the office?
Good question.
The days of working from home are fading for more employees, now being called back to the office.
Before COVID-19, high-tech companies were already experimenting with the advantages of remote work. A peer-reviewed report from an unidentified NASDAQ-listed company ran a trial where half of their call center workforce was randomly selected to work from home and the other half would remain in the office.
Oh crap, hold on, sorry. About 10% of US employees now regularly work from home, but there are concerns this can lead to shirking from home. What? We report the results of a WFH experiment at C-Trip, a 16,000 employee NASDAQ-listed Chinese travel agency call center employees who volunteered to work from home, or WFH, were randomly assigned to work from home or in the office for 9 months. Home working led to a 13% performance increase, of which about 9% was from working more minutes per shift, fewer breaks and sick days, and 4% from working from more calls per minute. Okay, so obviously the 9% is going to take fewer breaks and sick days simply because let's say someone's at home with them. They can just, hey, can you grab me, or can you grab me a sandwich or DoorDash some food or whatever. You can pretty much skip your lunch break while working, you know what I'm saying? Because you DoorDash delivers to your door. You take 5 seconds to run into your front door, grab your food, and start eating while continuing to work. And also with or somebody else might be home, like, hey, can you make me something to eat? I'm getting hungry, blah blah blah. Or can you grab me a bottle of water from the fridge while I'm working, blah blah blah. Also, the fridge is like right there, so they can just get up and go get it themselves sometimes. And it's just a better convenience. So I get why working from home would lead to fewer breaks, let alone sick days. You know what I'm saying? You might start having a sniffle. I might be getting sick. Let me grab some medicine. A lot of people have medicine cabinets or medicine drawers in their home. So just, let me grab that real quick. And, you don't have a boss that's looking over your shoulder constantly watching you. And so whether you have to go to the bathroom or not, or whether you have to, go get some food or not, or whether you have to get some medicine or not, the boss, you don't have that pressure of your boss standing over your shoulder watching what you're doing all the time. And yeah, the other one being 4% taking more calls per minute. I mean, I get it again, because it's like you're the home is a comfort area. You feel me? So it's like you're more comfortable working from home. It's like, all right, got that, knocked that call out, boom, easy, done. What's up? Next call, I got it. Let's go, keep going. And it's not like you're in this area that's not as comfortable as your home. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're in the office, which obviously won't be as comfortable as your home, and you have to, okay, well, got another call coming in. Hold on. I'm gonna let this ring for a bit or whatever before I take the call or respond to it. Let me stretch my legs, you know, whatever. Nah, instead, when you're at home, you could like have your box, have your clothes off, you know what I'm saying? Walk around in your underwear. You ain't gotta worry about, unless you have to be on Zoom, then, you know, you might have to at least wear a shirt. But you can walk around in your underwear, be as comfortable as you can get, which will improve your mood, which will improve your work ethics. So whatever.
Call center workforce was randomly selected to work from home, and the other half would remain in the office. The group given the opportunity to work from home had higher customer satisfaction, took 13% more calls, and suffered 50% less staff attrition, which is a big issue for call centers, which typically struggle with high staff turnover. A follow-up study done on workers in a wider selection of roles including finance, marketing, and software development had similar results. They compared staff working full-time from the office with staff working hybrid schedules from home and the office. That study found that hybrid workers were 8% more efficient at their jobs and had turnover rates 35% lower than staff working in the office full-time. If businesses want to get the most out of their workers, the results are clear. More work from home is more better.
Right.
Working from home is also cheaper for the business. Companies that want all of their workers in the office will pay more for utilities like electricity, maintenance, security, and internet that workers would happily provide themselves if they were allowed to work from home.
Right.
It's rare that companies turn down better results for less money. But in this case, there are 4 reasons that more are demanding their staff come back into the office. The first reason is that a lot of companies are not doing so well right now. Interest rates are high, investors are not throwing money around like they were in 2020, and companies need to make cuts. The easiest and largest ongoing expense for most companies are their employees. If a business is getting less work than usual, laying off staff is a prudent business decision. If a business can cut expenses at the same rate as lost revenue, then it may be able to maintain profits to keep the shareholders happy.
Wait, okay, so I guess since, you know, investors aren't spending as less as they could, and they need to, you know, sometimes fire people, then the easiest or best way to fire someone would be, you know, if they were not working from home, but actually working from the office. And since, you know, working from the office produces less quality work, then you would have an easier time sorting out who needs to be fired. Be like, oh, well, your performance is slipping, we might need to let you go. It's because they're working from, they're not working from home anymore, and they're working from the office. So I could see that being a thing. Not saying that that's the reason, but I could see it being a thing. Like I said before, working from home allows more comfort, and if you're more comfortable while you work, your work performance is likely to rise. So if you're, you know, working back in the office and that you lose that comfort of working from home and your performance drops, you know, your boss has a better reason to fire you. And also there are, you know, there are more strict, not laws, but in office laws. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be back from your lunch by this time. And let's say that you used to have the computer or like an AI or whatever, or the computer system would normally clock you back in by itself, but it started malfunctioning. So you were told to start clocking in, you know, manually, but you're not used to that, and they catch you slipping, so they fire you. They get a reason to fire you. But yeah, okay.
If a business is making less revenue, then it also means there's less work to do, so it just won't need as many staff. The problem is that laying off staff signals to the market that the company is struggling, which can affect the share price, make it harder to generate new business, and make it harder to hire new staff in the future. Nobody wants to work for a company that lays off a lot of people on a whim, and customers don't want to work with a company that looks like it might go out of business.
Right.
What companies really need is a way to get rid of staff without formally laying them off. Business leaders have already seen the studies, and they know that forcing people to work from the office leads to higher staff turnover, which in this case is exactly what they want.
But at some point, you've got to make a decision to say, look, this is our policy. You have to return to work and be okay with the idea that some employees may say, well, if that's the case, I just can't work for this company anymore.
Investment banks like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, which have seen declining revenue from less corporate deal activity, are forcing all of their staff to return to the office full time. Their official communications stress the importance of face-to-face interactions with clients and coworkers. Senior investment bankers from both firms of their staff to
Hey, look, we're on camera.
return to the office
Look,
full
we're on camera.
time.
Oh,
Their official
hey.
communications stress the importance of face-to-face interactions with clients and coworkers. Senior investment bankers from both firms, who love to talk about how much harder they worked when they were analysts, accidentally said the quiet part out loud when journalists contacted them about their firm's decision to bring everybody back. A senior manager at Goldman declared to the Financial Times that Goldman does not want to hire people for whom the most important thing is how many days they have to spend in the office. At the moment, this plan could backfire for businesses. Unemployment is still low, and it's easy for high-performing employees to find a new job. So managers using this tactic need to be careful, or they will be left with nothing but their worst employees. An easy way to get rid of staff without the bad publicity is just the first reason. So it's time to learn how money works to find out why you are going to be forced back into the office even if it makes no business sense. This week's
Hey, you know what company I wouldn't mind working for that forces me to work back in the office? Mine. As in being a content creator, being a YouTuber, being a Twitch streamer. If I forced myself to work back in the office, then my office is right here. Working from home, technically. My channel's not monetized yet, but one day it will be. But hey, yeah, YouTubers and Twitch streamers, rejoice, for you are most likely working from the office, which is your home. But anyway, I'm not trying to shit on, office workers. So I feel sorry for you. And don't worry, I'm trying to find a part-time job so I can, get back in it. But yeah. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Help me to keep my ability to work from home. Anyway.
Lesson was sponsored by Blinkist. Blinkist is a handy app that simplifies the key ideas from thousands of nonfiction books and podcasts into 15-minute chunks. Get a ton of knowledge in less time. Blinkist isn't for replacing.
I mean, I get that it's easier to absorb just the key knowledge and it's faster, but you might miss out on certain things that the storyteller was trying to tell you, or that the creator was trying to tell you if you just use something like that. I don't know. But anyway.
Reading. It's there to give you a quick overview of a book before you dive in, or a fast go. On Blinkist team and bad ones who can suck the life out of it. It's about the difference between. I recently found a book on Blinkist team and bad more and more efficient. And it has a ton of work. It's a must-have tool to improve mental back in the office works. The second reason that companies want their staff back in the office, despite all the advantages that working from home offers, is that they are exposed to real estate that is becoming useless.
Everyone's saying, you gotta come back to the office now. It's just like, it's all just giant propaganda to keep the commercial real estate market up.
The value of office.
I get it, because less people in the office, then there's less reason to keep that office. And well, I don't see the point in keeping it, to be honest. The people who own the office could just downgrade to a smaller building, and that way they would have to waste less money when it comes to paying for electricity or office space in general. I mean, couldn't that be a thing? Or do they not want to, in case they need to hold a certain meeting and call everybody in for that meeting? But I do get the I do understand the reason to call people back into the office because you have so much office space that's not being used. But like at the same time, if the quality of work because they're working from home is better, then why not just downgrade to a smaller office? And if you need to host a meeting, just use like Zoom or something like that, right? I don't get it. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a way to continue making it work instead of calling people back to the office.
Office buildings has slumped as people shift to working from home, which is a problem for the companies that have risk exposure to that market. Around 30% of major public companies in America own the office building they are headquartered in. This real estate represents a major asset on the balance sheet for those companies.
So I guess it's not as easy to downgrade to a smaller office.
Apple Park in Cupertino costs $5 billion to construct, which is a major investment even for a company like Apple. Investors pay close attention to how efficiently companies utilize their assets. A big building that is sitting empty is not doing anything to return money to shareholders, so there is pressure on company leadership to sell these assets. The problem is company executives trying to sell an office building in today's market would likely take a significant loss on the estimated value listed on the balance sheet.
You could start turning it into a like let's okay. let's relook at this. Hold on. Where's that? This, right? This cost $5 billion to make. Let's say that instead of keeping the entire area as a office, workspace, let's say instead you turn half of it into a housing market, right? Like the unused spaces, you can turn half of it into like a housing market. And then offer your employees a discount when buying houses in that area. That way, you cut your costs on, maintaining the office space, and your employees can continue working from home, but they're more dedicated to the company because they are living in, on what used to be company property that's right next to the company. So technically, wouldn't that help? Wouldn't that help? Wouldn't that work? Just sell some of that space or convert some of that space from being, office or workspace into residential space, and let your employees live in the area so that they can continue working from home, and therefore that cuts costs on what you have to pay for that commercial office space. And if need be, you need people to come to the office, they're right there next to you, so it cuts costs for them to get to the office. Feel me? So wouldn't that help, or am I missing something? Because like I said, I don't know everything, but I'm looking at it and just trying to think of stuff. Wouldn't that help?
Investors pay close attention to how efficiently companies utilize their assets. A big building that is sitting empty is not doing anything to return money to shareholders, so there is pressure on company leadership to sell these assets. The problem is company executives trying to sell an office building in today's market would likely take a significant loss on the estimated value listed on the balance sheet. This loss would be considered a bad look for the CEO when it's time for the board to decide their bonus. Instead of selling an asset that's not being used and realizing the loss, a better play for the CEO is to make sure the asset is being used. If an office is full, then company leadership can justify the capital tied up in a building as it offsets the rent they would have to pay if they didn't own the building. Most major companies do rent their offices, but that can actually put even more pressure on company leadership to get people back in the office. The average rental term for office space is much longer than the average rental term for...
Again, just turn it into residential space and let them live there. Let them rent the space or buy houses there, or buy land to build houses on.
A residential home. Office spaces require fit-outs to make them ready for the companies that will be occupying them. Office space is often rented as nothing more than an empty concrete shell, and the landlord and tenant will negotiate how the office will be built out to fit the needs of the company. The typical cost to fit out a high-rise office after the core of the building has been constructed is between $250 and $500 per square foot. If managers want their offices to look like the one in Suits, it will cost even more. Usually, the building owner pays for the fit-out, so they want to ensure their corporate tenant is going to pay rent for a long time, which is why office leases last much longer than residential leases. Companies that still have their leases from before COVID will be paying money every month for something they are not using, but can't get out of. A lot of company managers have decided if they are paying for it, they might as well use it, because the cost benefit of working from home disappears if the company is still paying for an office. According to a 2022 Office Space report on 247 companies conducted by Robin Poward, found that only 11% of companies were fully utilizing their office space. 46% of the companies surveyed were using less than half of their available office space. And another 46% of companies surveyed said that they plan to reduce office space within the next year. But that is difficult with long-term leases. One of the only options left to a lot of companies is to default on their leases to open negotiation with the building's owner. Some perfectly healthy companies have started.
But is there really no way to convert part of the property to residential space and just house your employee? Is there really no way to do that? Obviously, I don't know how this shit works, but is there really no way to do that?
Started to do this to try and get rid of a major ongoing expense. Banks are another group with significant exposure to office buildings. 3.8% of Wells Fargo loans are secured against commercial office space. This represents $37 billion in loans, or roughly a quarter of the company's market cap. Banks are under pressure to
3.57, not 37.
make sure that offices remain the standard working environment, or they will need to do significant write-downs if defaults continue. The third reason that companies are pushing people to come back to the office is because the power that an office can give managers.
And a lot of that has to do with employers starting to pull back, starting to say, we are still hiring, but we want you on site. We want you in place.
Some managers don't actually have that much to do besides stand over their subordinates and look important. It's easy to fill a day with redundant tasks and micromanagement in an office, but it's harder to do it online. Senior managers at companies making the decision to bring people back to the office are also going to be more comfortable with work in person than work done online.
Also, technically, the manager to continue to look busy could just be like, I'm going to go and visit my employees at their homes. House call. Your manager's here, just seeing what's going on. You got any food? Have you eaten today? Skip breakfast. Just saying. Whatever.
The old soft skills of business, like a firm handshake and small talk with colleagues, are less relevant online. Senior managers in the penultimate years of their career have spent most of their lives learning how important these skills are, and for many of them, it's how they got to their level to begin with. Straight-laced, old-school business managers are being confronted with a new work culture of online team meetings sat in by someone in their bathrobe and a co-worker's cat. Professional office culture is something that managers use as a powerful tool for extracting the most out of their subordinates.
Also, instead of just like a
of online team meetings sat in by someone,
like a co-worker in a bathrobe and their cat, there also might be someone, an employee, instead of using their face cam or their camera, they might be using like an AI avatar of like a cat or like a frog or something like that. I've been in video chats with people or video chats or Zoom meetings with companies when someone is when another employee is using like just a cat avatar or like a frog avatar as their, because we had to be on face cam. And they were, instead of being on face cam, they would just use like a cat avatar or a frog avatar. It's kind of fucking hilarious, but whatever.
In their bathrobe and a co-worker's cat. Professional office culture is something that managers use as a powerful tool for extracting the most out of their subordinates. People stay late at the office to get extra work done, in large part because they know sitting at their desk in the dark hours after everybody else has left is a good look and demonstrates to their superiors that they are willing to make sacrifices for their career. If on the other hand, you are someone that works from home, you won't get nearly the same recognition for working on something after hours, because you are sitting around at home in either case anyway. A large motivator for upward career advancement in the past has been the perks that come with senior management in a corporate role. If you come into work every day and sit down at a shared desk in an open plan office that has no privacy, where you sit shoulder to shoulder with noisy colleagues, you would be willing to work extra hard for a promotion if the job gave you your own office with walls and enough room to stretch a plan office that has no privacy.
I low-key wish this guy had never made this GIF or this animation, or you know, I wish he had never made this meme that people spam using, because it's, in my opinion, it's not for the black community. It's not the best look, and it just kind of makes it look stupid as fuck or whatever. But I don't like it at all.
To see where you sit shoulder to shoulder with noisy
And everybody, so many people fucking use it. It's so annoying to see.
colleagues, you would be willing to work extra hard for a promotion if the job gave you your own office with walls and enough room to stretch out without annoying your neighbors. According to studies by McKinsey, the Incentive Research Foundation, and Princeton, non-cash incentives have more of an impact on long-term work motivation than cash incentives. So even though we all say that we would just prefer the extra money, the science says we wouldn't. The research has presented 4 reasons why. The first reason is that non-cash incentives are easier to see. Every day you go into work, you will see an executive's private parking spot, their large office, and their personal assistant that fetches them coffee.
Right.
If a company just paid that executive more money instead of offering them visible workplace perks, you would never see their big house or retirement savings, so you would be less career motivated. The second reason is that non-cash incentives are easier to talk about. If you get given your own corner office, it's easier to talk about than a large salary increase. Workers should talk about their salaries more, but
Right, because if you get the new, bigger, large corner office, you can be like, hey, assistant, have so and so come into my office. And then when they come into your office, you got your feet up on the desk, and you just lay back like, oh, you're here. Yes, and you can get up, go look at your view. Join me. Come look at this view. Come look at this view with me. You see, if you want a view like this someday, then you're gonna have to get on your knees and suck my big, fat, black dick. Yeah. Oh, as speaking for the company, not me personally, but speaking for the company, you have to get on your knees and suck the company's big, fat, my black dick. But anyway, if you want this view, if you want to someday be in my shoes, you have to get on your knees. You have to do that thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But anyway, and then that's gonna help them to motivate their employees to work harder so that they can get that view one day. And while they get that view, you probably get promoted to a better view or a bigger office. And then you can call that same employee back into your office and be like, hey, good work getting that view, huh? Yeah. High five? Boop. Yeah. So if you want this view, next time you'll have to get on your knees and not only suck the company's big, fat, black, but you'll also have to bend over. You know what I'm saying? We need you to hit that not that newbie status bend over, you know what I'm saying, but that pro level bend over, you know what I'm saying? Face down, ass up. That's the way we like to. You gotta do that next. That's the way to get it. So are you in? But anyway, let's get back to.
there is still a taboo about it, which company management is more than happy to keep in place. So for now, people get to brag about their new office more than their big bonus. The third reason is that while people say they would prefer extra money, it quickly becomes their new normal and the higher income level becomes their new expectation. Do you remember what your salary was 10 years ago? Probably.
Also, new office is also a constant reminder to the person who works in that office that they earned that spot. Yeah, the new salary, yes, is a pay increase, but excuse me, they're not constantly coming in every day looking at that new salary increase. They're not constantly checking their paychecks, because paychecks will be once a week, twice a week. I mean, once a week, or once every other week. And then they look at their paycheck like, yeah, I earned that shit, good shit. When the new office, they come in practically 5 days a week and see the big office that they earn, and that they can be honored that they earned that. And if they work from home instead, then they're not going to be as motivated, as driven within the first few weeks as they were before.
Not, but you would probably remember where you worked. The fourth reason is that people just like recognition, and even small incentives like their face on the wall for Employee of the Month goes a long way. Most of these non-cash awards need some kind of physical presence to work, and working from home quickly makes a role far more transactional and easily comparable with another role where the worker will sit behind the same desk and work the same hours just for different money. Additionally, since most of these perks go to senior managers in a business, they are more likely to want to return to work themselves and make the same decisions for everyone else. According to a study of 10,000 workers in the summer of 2021, of executives who primarily worked completely remotely throughout the pandemic, 44% said they wanted to come back into the office every day. Just 70% of their employees said the same. It's nicer to go back to a comfortable office that you oversee than it is to go back to a shared desk that gets micromanaged. Managers are also just people, and they are more reactive to negative news than positive news. A manager is more likely to remember that one employee that played video games at home all day when they should have been working than they are to remember the hours saved by cutting out commutes for their entire team, leading to small incremental improvements. When surveyed, most managers believe that working from home,
I would totally rather be the employee that stayed home and played video games all day.
had a negative impact on their team's output, even though the data suggested exactly the opposite. The use of employee monitoring software has increased by 66% in the fall of 2021, and even as workers return to the office, managers have remained on average more suspicious of their subordinates. Collecting employee information and getting rid of remained on average more.
This guy's definitely been hitting those looks maxing tutorials.
More suspicious of their subordinates. Collecting employee information and getting rid of underperforming staff is one of the reasons that companies have become obsessed with data, but it's not the most profitable reason. To find out what is, go and watch my video on how they have turned your information into a $1 trillion bank account and how they are planning to cash it out. Also, if you like these videos and want to get them a day early,
The real reason the company has become obsessed with. Is this the one you're just talking about? The video where companies turn your information into $1 million bank accounts?
Your age, your income,
with your data. Yeah, I want to see that next. Not now, but I'll see that later. But yeah. Once again, this video was by the YouTube channel How Money Works, and it was titled "Why Companies Need People Back in the Office." So as always, link to the video, link to the channel, both in the description below. I hope you learned as much as I did. And I hope I was able to, add at least a little haha in there. But this, it really sheds light on why companies act or continue the way they actually do continue, why they do the things they do. And if you're looking to start a company yourself, you might want to take notes and, avoid any mistakes that other companies might have made, or follow in the footsteps of other companies. But hey, this was kind of this is pretty eye-opening. I enjoyed it, so I hope you did too. But as always, don't forget to do those 3 things I like to ask you to do, and like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that? In case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace. Much love too.